2003 Mazda 6 with a 3-liter engine, a V6. For those that might be wondering about the engine size. Complaint that we're having here with this car is this engine is overheating. Now, a little history of the car. It does have a check engine code for P0480, which basically calls for a circuit on fan 1 malfunction. So we have tested with the previous attempt to fix this car by a previous repairman. The fans were not turning on at all. So let's actually just test a few things here to make sure what's going on here. At the moment, we have check engine code P0480. AC is on. Let's go ahead and check on these fans. Fans are not moving at all. And hopefully you can pick this up on the camera, but as you can see, these fans, both of them, they're all new. Also, this computer module, fan control module, is also new, part of this whole assembly. Now, first inspection here on the car, we have here, it looks like they've been poking around. It's about broken harness, plastic here, a wrapper. Here as well, here as well. This is all part of the overheating. We get a little bit of a kickback here. Again, none of these, this is just factory. And just in case you wonder why is this green wiring here, basically we just tested the fans, and the fans actually do work. Let me shut out the engine so it doesn't get too hot. All right, let's see if we can find this right here. As you can see, somebody already made an attempt to fix this problem, and we're going to positive wire, the red here. All right, so as you can hear, the fans are working. What exactly we're missing here? We're missing control. All right, so I'm gonna pull a diagram here. I'm gonna show you how this works and the breakdown to it. All right, so let's break down the diagram here for this control module. And excuse my scanner for beeping, but it's either that or the chime of this car. All right, so we're gonna start here at the battery, and I'm gonna make all these checks soon on the car. So we have a 12-volt battery here. Then we have a positive connection to a 120 amp main fuse, which basically feeds, again, 2 fuses here, 30 amps each for fan 1 and fan 2. And just in case you see the word checked, it's because I already checked them, and I'm going to go over them in the video. The positive wires of each fuse actually goes to that coolant fan relay that I showed you. And this paper does not want to cooperate. Okay, so we have here built in inside of this coolant fan module, there's a built-in relay inside. And we have a relay here that when activated, it will close the circuit and activate the fans. As a matter of fact, I said it backwards. It goes to a coolant fan relay, which is inside of the fuse box, which I'll go over soon with you. The other part of the relay, inside of the relay itself, is going to go back to the main relay, and the other one's going to go back to the PCM, the computer. So, all right, so we have a positive feed here to the fan control module, which is actually attached to the shroud where the 2 fans are at, where I just made my connections. We have fan 1 and fan 2. These are the two fan motors. The negative wire, or the negative ground from the battery, connects at some point, and also it jumps into the control fan module. This right here, this is the PCM on pin 44. We're gonna check a few things here. And the problem that I'm having here is the fan control module can be bad. However, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that everything that was replaced being brand new and the problem still not happening, we have a control problem. This computer is not telling this control fan module when to kick in. And a few things to kick in is, of course, temperature. Also, if the AC is on, it will actually force those fans to turn on. So we have here a positive, we have a negative that controls this control fan module, and we have a control feed that comes into this control fan module from the computer, which tells this control module when to turn on and activate each fan or both of them at the same time. So that's what we have here. We're gonna go to the front of the car. We're going to back probe this control wire to see if we're getting computer control command on the front. But before we do that, I actually set myself up right here, and I'll show you where this is located. This is actually, let's take this test light out, and let's actually go over the setup here. We have a multimeter. We have this positive lead. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. We're just checking here for activity. It's on the PCM on pin 44. We're gonna get that shot soon to see where is it at. And the negative cable, of course, goes back to battery. I have here an alligator clip and an extension here to help me here with my troubleshooting. So all right, to verify the AC is on. We still have no fans. And we have activity here from that ECM that should be going to the front, and it is not. And we're going to show you that soon. So we have an open here somewhere on this wire. As you can see, the computer, it is sending the command, and my fans up there are not responding. So we're going to do the same checks up front to find out exactly where are we missing control. We have a broken somewhere, and we have to find it. And as you probably noticed, the condition of the harness wrapper, we have possibly a damaged wire somewhere. And as you can see, it went down to 0 or close to it. So this computer is responding. That driver is responding. We have an open somewhere. Let's go ahead and find out. All right, so let's get you a quick shot of where I'm connected. And again, basic tools here. We have some alligator clips, one going to the negative terminal right there. We have this multimeter on DC, AC, auto. We have the positive here. We have, trying to get this positive out of any grounds. And if you see that gray connector right there where I'm pinched, that wire was already busted. So that's where I'm tapping into. So far we're reading 0. I'm going to see if I can get you guys a good shot. And just keep a good look at it to see if we have any response here. I'm actually suspecting that connection there where the two cables get together, that harness. We're gonna see first if where I'm actually tapping in, which is before the harness connects to another harness, if we have some live data there. Bear with me, guys, here. Alright, guys. So again, same test. We have the AC on. We're tapped behind the harness where it connects to another one. We do have some activity here. We're going to shut this down for a moment. We're going to test after the harness where it connects to see if we have an open somewhere. And again, same behavior as if we were connected inside. So far I approve the connection being fine all the way to where the harness is. I'm gonna end this video here for a moment. I'm going to take a few of these parts out. That way I can back probe the connection back there at the control module. So I can do the same testing there. That way we can find out if we have a wiring issue or a control issue from that module / relay. You're looking there at the fan shroud. Alright, so as you can see, I had to remove a few things out of the way. We had to take the air box out, the solenoid that goes there, and the tube. Not a big deal. That noise you hear back there, aside from my dog, we have here the AC blowing over there, and I have the AC. What I'm trying to look for here is for direction and signal. I want to know if we're getting a computer signals to this module right here. I took the main wire out. We have here a positive and a negative there. And again, just try just to touch it. Do not spread these terminals. And we do have here, we're getting a signal here. So we're getting 10.5. Alright, so far we have proof that so far here, this is our culprit here. We have a fan control module that it is defective. So let me take you to the bottom of the car, inside of the dash, to find out where this computer lives. And also, we're going to see where this pin is at. Let's take this key out. See if I can get a flashlight there for you guys. This is where the computer lives. I took the cover off. This is a 10mm bolt. Right there where you see the pin. Let's see if I can get you a right here. This pin. This is pin 44. What do we have here? We're gonna have a red wire with a black stripe. So if you need to know, these are numbered. It should be on the 3rd row. That row should be 52, and you just count to the left, and you're gonna be in descending order. That pin right there is where I was tapping into before. We do have good control coming out of this wire. This wire has good integrity. This computer has a good working driver, and we're getting consistency signal from this ECM all the way to the front of the car. So once again, we don't have a control issue here. We actually have a faulty control fan module. Alright, so comes about that the owner actually told me that the fan control module, there's actually one in the car and there is one in the vehicle. Both of them are brand new. The fans are still not turning on. So in the previous clips I had some sort of direction of control, everything checked out, but didn't realize that the modules were swapped and the problem still existed. So going to the fuse diagram, or the fuse box here, we have the fan relay, which is this guy right here. Let's find out if the fans turn on if you jump these. and they do turn on. So what we're missing here is control on the relay, and the thing about relays, especially usually, is that you have a 4-pin design, and usually 2 of them are hot at all times. So hopefully you can see the multimeter there, negative. And the switch is off, that's why you don't see anything. As a matter of fact, DC volts. Alright, so we have 12. It jumps to this one, and this shouldn't read anything, this is dead. And if I don't drop the relay, I can show you faster. Alright, so this is the orientation of the relay. This is the one that I touch. It loops around this one. This one loops to this one. So if you go back to the diagram that I had on the sheet of paper, on the paper in the side of inside of the car, these two actually, one goes to the PCM, the other one goes to the relay. So if I'm not mistaken, this is a black wire under it. How do I know? I tore down this fuse box. This one right here, it's green with a black stripe. Now it comes about that whether it was Ford or Mazda and their wisdom, they decided to label this fuse right here engine BB5A, and I have no idea what it means other than engine. And if we check on this fuse, I got nothing here. So I already checked. Well, if we do a continuity test, so basically this pin down here, I do have continuity here, but when it comes to this one right here, I do not. We have a blown fuse. So we're going to put this on. I'm going to take this fuse out. Hopefully you can see how the fuse is blown. We do have a replacement one. Do we have continuity? I think we should. As a matter of fact, I can't test it now because I put the relay on. But we can test the continuity here. This fuse is good. And this is how I was able to fix this car. Now, the fuses, of course, 30-30. I checked them. I don't believe I checked them before in the video. So let me do that quickly for you guys. Negative. DC volts. We have 12, 12, 12, 12. Now, just in case you wonder how did I get access to the fuses so quickly since they are sealed, well, it comes to that somebody was tapping in here and the plastic top is shattered. So I have access to the fuse from the top. These two. So, just in case you need to know why you're changing relays, fan control modules, and your code is still coming up and your fans are just not working, you're overheating, check the fuse. Check, of course, the wiring, and it's as simple as a 5 amp fuse. Alright guys, so final takes on the repair. P0480 on a Mazda 6, 4 Fusion, any vehicle with that type of check engine code. Check for everything. I'm sure you have probably written down on the comments, why did you do this? You should have checked on fuses, which I did. Now, on my surprise here, and this is where I don't think Mazda put too much input on this engine. As you can see, I own many Mazdas, especially Mazdas that back in the day where they design mostly their own engines. This is definitely a Ford engine, wiring and fuse boxes into a Ford or a Mazda. I usually have problems with Fords where they don't really like to label their fuses, or they like to put abbreviations and you have to look down for a legend or something to chase down abbreviations that don't make sense, and then you have to go into a wiring diagram. Not that I have anything against wiring diagrams, but sometimes you just want to fix a simple problem and it turns into a whole NASA project, you know. Moving along from that type of thought, don't be a parts changers. Check everything, check every wire, check every fuse, check relays, and get a wiring diagram. And just make sure that you check everything, you know. In this particular case, if you have a P0480, and in my case I had to tear down the fuse box completely, which was not easy. I hated it. And I had to chase wires. Many wires actually ended up into the ECM. Some of them actually ended up in fuses, actually. A relay to a fuse or a fuse to a relay. In this case, this fuse, the one that I showed you, can't think of the top of my head which location it is into the fuse box, but fuse with a 5 amp load is the one that actually feeds that relay. So if you have sadly changed many parts, fan shrouds, fan motors, fan modules, fan relays, you name it, you check on the wires, your wires are intact, the car is actually in better shape internally than the one that I had in. It hasn't been really hacked like that one, you know. Check for fuses. And if you plan to own this vehicle for a long time, it wouldn't hurt to actually have a wiring diagram, you know, and just take it from there. But aside from that, I want to take a few seconds, maybe a minute, of my time on this video to you guys. This video is actually an inspiration to what I actually been watching for quite a long time. Loyal follower to Scanna Danner or Paul Danner. You know, his way of attacking problems actually works. I may have not been as efficient or as straight as him, but it does work. Come prepared to a job, have the wire diagram, check everything, have basic knowledge. Spend some time on his YouTube videos and learn something. I can say that I've learned a few things, a thing or two, and I love it. It's just a challenge, you know. But moving along from that, Paul, you know, if you're watching this, thank you very much. You've been a great inspiration. I don't pretend to be like you. I don't pretend to be better than you. I just want to say that as a loyal follower, I have no words to say thank you. You know, now I have to say that I like what you do, and I can see the fact that going to a shop, going to a car, doing a diagnose, you know, it is actually really fun. I don't get to perform the repairs many times when I do that type of job, but when I do, it's okay. Anyone can be a parts changer. But the true joy behind this is properly diagnose the problem. You know, as into the fuse. Why did the fuse blow? I have no idea. Fuses are not supposed to blow. I'm actually thinking that whoever was working on this car before me shorted it to ground and blew up a fuse protecting the relay. I put the old relay back.
the oil relay works. So all along we were working with a faulty fuse. So if it blows again, we know we have a short to ground somewhere and we have to find it. But the car ran fine, and so far it hasn't blown the fuse. The car is still running. Another thing here is on this problem, you know, it may take you a few hours, it may not, but it's stuff like that. But in case you don't happen to have a short to ground wire circuit or anything like that that can blow a fuse, understand that a little bit of on that car that I have outside of the garage, the motors were blown. So if for some reason the motors were blown and they created a lot of resistance, or they started to draw a lot of amperage, that could have actually blown the fuse. But again, I would not know. The fans were completely changed. The fan control module was completely changed, and it was brought up to me with a overheating condition, and it was all due to a fuse. So we may have fixed the problem completely. In other videos, of course, I'll keep the car here for other check engine codes that came in. I'll keep you updated on the status of that car in terms of P0480. I'm going to close this video here. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe, like, and Paul Danner, thank you very much.